What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I figured we should look in and find out what's going on with the House and the Senate bill that they're trying to pass so that Americans can get relief and the companies can bring workers back, or at least survive until this all passed. So we better do that, and then we'll talk about it. But I want to bring in a special guest tonight to the Kevin's Corner show, which is Tucker Carlson, okay? Because he got a little insight of what's going on with the Democrats. You know, they're always up to something. Those wily and elusive, crafty, sneaky, evil Democrats. Let's see what they got to say about what they want in the bill to pass before they can, sign it and help the American public. Because remember, they're all about the little man. They're all about the hard-working, American. That's what they're about. So let's see what they got in their bill. Let's listen in. Hey, Tucker.
It is a fearful time in American life, obviously. Americans are worried they could die of this disease, that someone they love could die, that they might lose their jobs, that the country that they grew up in could be crippled permanently in the wake of this disaster. It's a terrifying moment.
It is.
And in that moment, we need wisdom and steady guidance from our leaders. We need altruism. They need to care more about you than they care about themselves.
True.
But in Congress, they don't.
What?
The foremost concern of some members is saving their own investment portfolios or making.
But wait a minute, Tucker. That's what we voted them in for, right? To help with times like this. So you mean to tell me that these same Congress people who want to control our lives, they want to be over our health care, they want to be over all of that stuff, they're not getting this done? You would think this would be an easy thing to do. But let's listen and find out why not.
Big partisan points or indulging their creepy ideological obsessions. Wondering why Congress hasn't yet passed a bill to help the country survive this? That's why.
What?
Details of the Democratic plan became public today. Huge parts of the proposal have nothing to do with fighting the pandemic we're suffering through. Read it, and you will find disgusting little interest group handouts added by lobbyists.
Like what?
Worse, the bill is suffused with the cruel bigotry of identity politics.
Oh, that's nasty.
At a time when America so badly, desperately needs to come together, Democrats remain intent on splitting this country into warring tribes.
It's a shame.
It's shocking.
It is.
When asked about her bill today, Nancy Pelosi blamed the Pope.
The Pope? What?
Last Thursday, Pope Francis offered the world this prayer. Enlighten those responsible for the common good so that they might know how to care for those entrusted to their responsibility. Today, House Democrats are unveiling the Take Responsibility for Workers and Families Act, a bill that takes responsibility for the health, wages, and well-being of America's workers. The Senate Republican bill put corporations first, but because of the insistence of Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats, progress has been made.
Okay, so y'all hear that? Y'all hear Mushmouth? The Senate. First of all, she always gets religious. Whenever the Democrats want to try to tug at the heartstrings of their voters or the public, they never say, here's our ideas. It's always, let me channel or invoke things that I really hate and I don't support. Like, for example, during impeachment, now all of a sudden they want to talk about the forefathers, our founding fathers, and all of that stuff. Or when they want to pass some garbage bill and try to slide in some stuff that has nothing to do with the coronavirus, they try to always bring religion in. I was listening to the Pope. The Pope said last week that people should, and then we got to look out for the workers, okay? It's for the, and I'm thinking, Mushmouth, come on now. First of all, you don't care anything about what the Pope has to say, because I think the Pope is against abortion. But you tried to slide in a bill in this whole thing to support that. And so did you consult with the Pope then? Did you say, Pope, what you think about us aborting all these babies and doing third trimester abortion, okay? The first thing would say is, get thy monkey paw out of thy face. But nonetheless, that's what Nancy's doing. And she says that the Senate were focused on businesses. Too much. No, wait. I'm just thinking out loud. Just simple economics. If the businesses don't have support, then the people working for them lose their jobs. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we give all this money, $3,000-$4,000 to all Americans, and they say, okay, great, this is going to float me for about 2 or 3 months. Then when they get this all under control, and they get ready to go back to work, the businesses are like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? We had no assistance. We're broke. We're bankrupt. So now those same people that you helped temporarily are now butt out when it comes down to going back to the job. So if you don't help the companies, then guess what? It trickles down to the employees. They got to let everybody go. So the Democrats, my question to them is, because they're not dumb, they're just selfish. Is that what you really want? So you can tell all the voters, we helped y'all. But for those that are undereducated, they might not see that by helping us and not the companies, you also made sure that the economy, even after this, still imploded, which would be great for them coming into November. See, so hey, we helped you all, and Trump, he tried to just help the corporations, and now look at the economy. It's horrible. It's horrible. Let's continue.
Even by Washington standards, shamelessness like that really has no precedent. Quoting the Pope?
Yeah, why would you do
St.
that?
Nancy's coronavirus bill currently is more than 1,400 pages.
Whoa.
It's not that long because it's a finely tuned fix to help the country through this disaster.
Why is it that long?
It's that long because House Democrats have crammed it with totally unrelated political priorities. Identity politics, stoking racial division as usual, global warming, open borders.
What that got to do with...
You should read it. Here's just some of what you'll find if you do.
Give us a
The bill would
breakdown.
require every corporation that receives coronavirus aid to have officers and a budget dedicated to diversity and inclusion initiatives from...
Okay, so wait a minute. The Democrats are saying we're not going to give you companies any money unless you have an officer over diversity. All right, so somebody at the gate standing there and checking, oh, wait a minute, what nationality are you? Okay, so we got a Asian female transgender. Good, go ahead in. We're looking for a bisexual pygmy. We have any of those? All right, what about a nutrigender aborigine? We need one of those too. All right, so you want somebody doing that before you give up the money, right? So you want to drag out these bills because you want your own personal, I guess, pet project. You want that to be included in the bill. See, and this is what I say. Democrats could never make real good moral decisions on behalf of the people because everything is self-serving. It all comes down to their agenda. They would say, you know what? We love you people. However, our bigger agenda is more important than you. So if this doesn't help us in some fashion or form, then I'm sorry. We're going to have to take the whole thing, delay everything, and let you guys suffer until we get our way. Because it's not just about you. It's about us first. Let's continue.
Minimum of 5 years after they get the money. Because that is going to keep America healthy and prosperous, just like it has. More bean counters making sure you're the right color before they give you a job.
That's stupid, Tucker.
Companies would also have to produce elaborate racial reports for the government listing the skin color and the sex of their officers and boards of directors. They have to prove they give enough money to firms owned by women and non-whites, and of course, how much they spend on diversity.
So all of these requirements for you to give the money to the companies and businesses that are keeping everybody employed. Now, I know GM, a lot of people from the Youngstown area used to work there. I bet you they're more concerned about, can you get us back to work versus having something in place for GM to go through the red tape. All right, we got 1,700 Aborigines. We got 2,500 Hispanics. We got 1,300 women. All of this stuff they got to report to just so they can get the money. These aren't details y'all can work out as time goes. So when a crisis comes, instead of focusing on the crisis, the Democrats say, ooh, this is a good chance for us to slide in some garbage. And hopefully they'll just overlook the garbage and pass this stuff, because any normal person at any normal time in the year, you try to slide this stuff in and people are like, yo, get it out of here. But under pressure, under a crisis, what do? They try to exploit it like the hyenas that they are. Let's continue.
Initiatives. In all, this bill uses the words diverse or diversity more than 60 times. What does it have to do with a pandemic that might kill you?
Thank you.
Not
Thank you,
one
Tucker.
thing.
Not one.
Just more ugly race politics, the kind they specialize in.
Yeah.
Democrats think that's much more important right now.
Yeah.
And then it gets worse than that.
Worse?
The bill allocates $300 million for hiring experts to manage coronavirus preparation and response. Those are critical jobs. But instead of looking for the most qualified people in a time of national emergency, and that's the only criterion that should matter in the least right now, period, are you qualified? Instead of that, the bill orders that employees be chosen on the basis of their race and disability status.
Okay, all right, so there you have it. So we're delaying this bill, this relief to the American people, because they want a coronavirus task force hired within these companies, but it's not based on your skill level. So let me just act this out. All right, come on in. What's your last name? My name is Dr. Ravinovich. Okay. How long have you been an epidemiologist? For 40 years. I'm the leading expert when it comes down to pathogens, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's great. Okay, we'll keep your resume in our file. Thank you. We'll get in touch. Next, hello, my name is Yeoman Johnson. Okay, Yeoman Johnson. Tell me a little about yourself. Well, I'm binary, and my preferred pronouns is he, him, her. And I've been a part of the LGKBDC double negative 3 / organization for 15 years. I'm neither he or she. I don't believe in those things. Okay, that's great. You know what? We're looking for someone like you. What do you know about epidemiology and pathogens? Well, not much. I just graduated and, really haven't. This will be kind of my first job. First job. See, Dr. Ravinovich is very experienced, but then we got Yeoman Johnson here, who is a part of the LGBT, say, W357 / group, and they're gender neutral. You know what? You're the person we're looking for. We'll hire you. And all of a sudden, everybody in the whole company got corona because Yeoman Johnson here knew nothing about the disease or how to stop it. So that's what the Democrats are about. They don't care about how competent you are. They only care about how we look on the surface. They are that person that is big for nothing, in the weight room lifting all the time, and you look great on the outside, but on the inside, you're just dying because you drink every night, you smoke, you pop pills, and your kidneys are just tore up. But yet, so what? Look good on the outside. It's all about the appearance. They hit us with the Billy Crystal back in the day. You look marvelous, darling. And it's better to look good than to feel good. And you look marvelous, darling. So that's what they're excited about. Let's continue.
Insanity is dangerous.
It is
insanity.
dangerous.
Who cares what color your scientists are?
Thank you.
But it goes on.
What?
They would mandate that all 50 states have an early voter period as well as same-day voter registration. Why?
Why?
Because Democrats believe those changes would give them an electoral advantage.
Oh.
The bill would expand collective bargaining rights for federal employees. That's likely the group least threatened by the effect of coronavirus.
That's true.
And this is the real point, though. They're the most faithful Democratic voting bloc. So they're in the bill. On matters of policy, the bill doesn't even try. Should the airlines get a federal bailout? That's an actual question. You could take either side. Democrats don't really dwell on it in this bill. It's too serious for them.
Right.
Instead, the law would require that any airline that takes federal money offset their carbon emissions within 5 years, because climate activism is way more important than the disease that could kill your family next week.
Okay. So now you're trying to slide in the Green Deal on us? That's what you're doing? So you want the airline to agree. You're basically a terrorist. That's what it is. The Democrats are posing as a terrorist type entity, where it's like, you know what, you want the money? Well, here's what you're going to have to do. Rearrange your whole way of doing business. We want diversity. We want Green Deal initiatives. We want all these things before we stop the bleeding, or we're willing to let you go under along with all of your employees that work for you. You see who you voted in, ladies and gentlemen. You see who's working for you on your behalf when it comes down to the Democrats. But yet, people keep voting these knuckleheads in. So if that's the most important thing to Americans when they're going to the voter booth, well, let's see. Let's make sure that we got diversity in the companies and make sure that the Green Deal Initiative is the first priority of all of these jobs that we're in need of. But that's not it. There's one more. Let's continue.
And then there's this. The House version of the bill includes special provisions, for real, to protect foreign nationals working here in the U.S. So we're staring down the barrel of the most profound employment crisis of our lifetimes. That's not an exaggeration. And what are Democrats doing? They're trying to automatically renew visas and work permits for all immigrants here in the U.S. because their jobs are very important, way more important than yours. Democrats want to make certain the people who are replacing you are secure and happy.
Right.
The whole thing defies belief, and that's not a partisan observation.
Right.
Again, read it.
Now, y'all hear that? Tucker just gave us a nice edited version of what the Democrats have in the bill. Their whole goal is to slide in all of these initiatives that have nothing to do with the actual coronavirus and helping people right now. So they want to make sure that all these illegal immigrants are protected. Like always, they put others before the American people, because what they really want to do is increase their voter base and support by saying, we're going to divert your attention away from your immediate need and focus on all these stupid policies that we're going to make appear are priorities, and would eventually bring another voter base in, and that will, of course, ensure that we stay in power for the duration of the existence of the United States, which, if the Democrats run it, will probably be about a year and a half. So, with that being said, this is how they're approaching such a serious situation like this. Now, every human in America needs to hear this. They need to read the bill, but guess what? Unfortunately, right now as I'm speaking, someone's watching CNN, and CNN is probably blaming the Democrats for just focusing on corporations and making sure that the big businesses have their money. And of course, they don't care about the little man and all of that stuff. And look at the Democrats. They're so gracious and so diverse in their thinking. They want to help everybody. They want to help everybody. And until they get their way, they're going to go ahead and spike the ball. They're going to go ahead, spike the deal, drag it out while our economy just collapses. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to check in, and I would include my next thought concerning the coronavirus and what's going on right now. But this video, I don't want it to be too long, so I'm going to make part 2. So you got to check out part 2. Anyway, God bless y'all. Thanks for checking me out. Don't forget, check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. Click on the link below. If you like something, put Kevin in the promo code. You get a 20% discount. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe, and the notification button. Make sure you're still subscribed and that your notifications are set to all. If you want to donate to Kevin at Kevin's Corner, feel free. There's a link in the bottom of this video to do that as well. And you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. And every Wednesday, 7:30, I go live in Kevin's Corner on Facebook, YouTube, and my radio blog talk show. God bless. See you next time. Kevin's Corner.